I'm Narana, Naomi Wilansky, and I've been a dance leader for the last 30 years and am a mentor in training as well as a member of the DUP International Board. I want to welcome you, friends, to this fifth in the series of interviews. These are being put on by your DUP International Board, and they were the brainchild of Arjun Calero, who's also a board member and who also leads the Beyond Initiative. They're all being recorded and can be found on the DUP International website, and it's quite a treasure. The theme of this interview is Rising to the Call, weaving the spiritual and inner development of the dance leader. In all, we're learning about dance deepening in the mentoring process. And the interviews are conversations between a seasoned senior mentor, usually from different regions, and a seasoned senior mentor who is also a member of the Guidance Council. So these are wonderful opportunities to get a glimpse of your board and guidance council members and to meet and learn from two inspiring senior dance mentors. This interview will be slightly different in that we are grateful to have Kabir from Germany and my fellow board member interpreting for Rafia. We're hoping to have time for questions at the end, so if you put them in the chat, our new executive director, Vakil Rojos, will gather them and ask some near the end. I know we've already done the invocation, but let's do it again because a lot of people weren't here. So Munir, if you would do it in English.
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. Let's take a breath toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of Guidance.
Dem einen entgegen, der Vollkommenheit, der Liebe, der Harmonie und der Schönheit, dem einzig Seienden, vereint mit all den erleuchteten Seelen, die den Meister, den Geist der Führung verkörpern.
So we'll begin. Kabir, would you introduce Rafia, who you identified for this interview?
Sure. Thank you, Narana. So it's my great privilege and honor to introduce a dear, dear friend, Rafia, who in her end 30s met the dances, 95, reading an article in a magazine about dance therapy. And the first thing she thought was, well, that is something that could be useful. It directly fell into her heart. And so she called the office of the UP Germany and booked her first seminar, end of 95. And in the winter of 95, 96, visited an Aramaic prayer led by Sadi, and started a dance leader training in 96. So that were the first steps on her path that led to becoming a board member of the German organization, that led to becoming a member of the family dance camp organization team that led to 10 years working in Bosnia with women and men, and even offering a dance leader training in Bosnia. It led to offering own dance leader trainings. And I have the privilege to be her partner in that in nowadays. So another big thing, and that must be mentioned, is like Rafia and her family, they live on a farm, and 96, 97, they rebuilt a part of the farm into a big room so the big family could gather at this place, like the family. And then 95, the dances came. So this big room is now for two families, like the family and the dance family. And now, like a few years ago, her daughter-in-law took over the seminar house and is organizing the seminar house and retreat center that Rafia and her husband built during these last nearly 30 years now. And it became a home for the dances in Germany, one of the homes for the dances in Germany. So
beautiful. Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Munir Peter Reynolds. Munir first encountered the dances in 1987 and 88 with Sadi Neil Douglas Klotz in California in a graduate program in spirituality. Vakil, this might be a time to put the photo up. Can you do that? Did you get it? So, yep, that's Munir with the mustache behind Sadi. Believe it or not, Munir took up dance leading in 1995 and has since co-led three-year dance leader training series, including an advanced training for certified leaders and many other DUP training events over the years. He has led dances in the USA, Canada, Russia, and New Zealand, and was on the staff at Wilderness Dance Camp from 1998 to 2012. He was also executive director of DUPIN, DUP International, from 2009 to 2016, during its reorganization from the former Peaceworks to the current structure. Okay, so everybody's gotten a look at this picture. Thank you, Vakil.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know you want to hear from these two. So Munir and Rafia. So Munir, maybe start. What is the jewel of the Dances of Universal Peace, in your opinion, the biggest gift that the dances bring to people?
Thank you so much, Nirana, and everybody for being here today. I'll attempt an answer to that. I feel the jewel of the dances is the encounter with the name of God or the sacred phrase, which is truth expressed through the limited medium of words. The real truth can't be spoken, but it points to something very deep and important. And it's the truth that changes us. It's not our efforts to change. It's the truth that changes us. I may try to be a better person and so on in various ways. But if I see the truth about myself or about life, I'm instantly changed. So this shows that truth directly relates to what we are. And it's why Murshid Sam discovered that chanting the name of God wakes people up and brings them into a completely different state. It's because we're remembering our being in the only being. So the job of the dance leader then is to make the truth of the sacred phrase accessible to dancers through attunement, music, beauty, and the craft of dance leading. And to do this, we have to embody the sacred phrase in everything we say and do. And this requires contemplation, allowing the truth of the dance and the sacred phrase to penetrate all of our resistances, including the idea we're a separate person or I'm not good enough, all of those factors that may be involved. And for that reason, dance leader training has got to be one of the most incredible pathways to human development, but development way beyond that, because we have to confront all the things in us that keep us from being available in this way. So in preparing a dance, then we ask, how does this truth apply to me, the dance leader? And we let the dance and the sacred phrase work on us. And that is the spiritual practice of it. So I feel that's the jewel. But the deeper jewel is really remembering being. These are called the dances of universal peace, but they could have been called the dances of universal being because we're referring to the being, the only being there is. And we borrow our being, our seemingly temporal being from that. And that's what people are longing for, their very own being that is the source of peace and love and happiness. So the dances are a great jewel for humanity for those reasons, I feel.
Thank you. Beautiful. Rafia, what do you think about what's the jewel of the dances of universal?
Thank you, Munir. Ich mag die Worte, die gesagt hat, zumindest die ich verstanden habe.
I like the words you just said, Munir. At least those I did get fully and understand fully.
Berühren mein Herz.
They touch my heart.
Ja. Und hallo zu allen, die hier dabei sind. Und ich freue mich, ich sehe jetzt uns 4. Und ich freue mich aber, dass ich die Gelegenheit habe, hier auch beim Interview ein bisschen was zu sagen. Und ich bemühe mich, so gut ich kann, es kurz zu fassen, weil ich übersetzt werden muss.
Hello to you all. At the moment, I see the 4 of us on the screen. I know there are more. Thanks for joining us and thanks for being with us. I'm very happy to have been asked to join this interview, and I try to find precise short words because I know I'm being translated.
Was mich an Munirs Worten ganz berührt hat, ist einfach, wie er diese Einstimmung des Tanzleiters beschrieben hat.
What touched me very deeply in Munir's words was his description of the attunement of the dance leader.
Und das ist für mich der Moment, wo der Segen durchkommt.
For me, this is the moment where the blessing can come through.
Und das größte Juwel bei den Tänzen finde ich eben diesen Segensstrom, den man immer wieder in Tanzkreisen spürt.
And the biggest jewel for me is this stream of blessing that you can feel again and again in dance circles when they come together.
Und das erreicht man tatsächlich auch immer durch Singen der heiligen Worte und durch das gemeinsame Atmen. Und meine Erfahrung ist, im Singen schalte ich auch mein Denken aus. Gehe ich in eine andere Bewusstseinsebene.
And we're stepping into this stream of blessing while we're coming together and singing and dancing and breathing together. And my experience is that when I start to sing, my brain stops to think. And so
Und das bringt uns alle in einen höheren Energiezustand.
And this high-ends or brings us in a higher level of energy.
Wir tauchen ein in einen heiligen Raum und es geht ganz einfach. Wir halten uns an den Händen und singen und verbinden unsere Herzen.
We dive into a holy space simply in holding hands, singing together and connecting our hearts with each other.
Wir hatten in Vorbesprechung, überlegt, hat Noana gefragt, ob ich nicht Bilder von deutschen Tanznetzwerk habe.
When we met beforehand this meeting, Norana asked me if I may have pictures of the German dance network.
Und das habe ich gerne rausgesucht.
So I found some of them.
Und so bitte ich Wakil, das erste Bild zu zeigen.
So Wakil is sharing the first picture now.
Das war mein Einstieg, das deutsche Familientanzcamp.
That was one of the first things I participated in very long years ago. This is a picture from the German family dance camp, which is not that long ago, that picture.
Und da wohnen eine Woche lang ungefähr 250 bis 300 Menschen zusammen, tanzen, singen und beten miteinander.
This is when for a week 250 to 300 people come together to eat, dance and pray together.
Und es ist auch eine Möglichkeit für viele, die noch nicht so vertraut mit Tanzanleiten sind, dort im Morgentanzen, sogenannten Morgentanzen, einen Tanz anzuleiten.
And it's also an opportunity for dance leaders in training, for dance leaders who are not that experienced, to lead dances in the so-called morning dance circle.
Meine Erfahrung ist, immer wieder Tänze anleiten und in diese heilige Atmosphäre eintauchen. Das bringt einen am meisten weiter.
And my experience is to do this again and again, dive into this holy space, experience the stream of blessing. This is what encourages the next steps.
Und so gibt es ein ganz großes Team. Bitte the next picture, please.
So the next picture will show this one. There's a big team of people.
Und es gibt ein Team von 40 bis 50 Menschen manchmal, die in verschiedenen Bereichen arbeiten und die dieses Tanzcamp gestalten.
There's a team of 40 to 50 people who work in different areas on the camp, who create and hold this space for the participants.
Und das war mein Einstieg und mein noch mehr verbunden sein mit den Tänzen.
And this was like very many years ago, my first step into the dances and to connect myself deeper and deeper and deeper.
Und dann bitte the next picture. Dieses nächste Bild zeigt die Arbeit in Bosnien, wo wir auch immer wieder mit verschiedenen Gruppen gearbeitet haben.
This picture shows the work in Bosnia, where we worked with like different groups of people.
Und das hat mich sehr geprägt, mich einfach hinzugeben und mein Urteilen loszulassen.
And this experience very much deepened a sense of surrendering and getting rid of judgment.
Ja. Und es hat mich dann auch gelehrt, wie ich am besten kurze Sätze mache, zu übersetzen.
And it taught me how to make short sentences because I needed to be translated there as well.
And then the next picture, please. Hier in Ruchau haben wir auch 23 Jahre ein kleines Camp gemacht.
This is a picture from Ruhau, as the place is called, where Rafia lives. And there was a little dance camp during Pentecost happening for 23 years.
Und hier tanzen wir auf einer Wiese und auf dieser Wiese ist später ein Friedensgarten entstanden.
And you see us dancing on a meadow here. And on this meadow, later, the Peace Garden was created that you can find there now.
Genau. Was ist über das Juwel des Tanzens oder was die Tänze für die Menschen sind, für mich sind, für alle im Kreis sind? Für mich ist es immer am schönsten, wenn die Menschen, die Gesichter nachher freudevoll sind, strahlen.
What is the jewel of the dances? What does it bring to people? For me, the joy is, or what I appreciate very much is after a dance session, to see the faces of people glow and radiate.
Und für mich ist es auch eines der wichtigsten Sachen, die Menschen im Herzen zu erreichen.
And one of the most important things for me is also to reach people in their hearts.
Nicht so viel mit Worten zu erklären.
Not talk too much, not explain too much with words.
Sondern einfach dem Herzen zu folgen, der Melodie zu folgen, der Bewegung zu folgen.
Simply follow your heart, follow the melody, follow the movement.
Und es gibt von einem alten Sufi einen Ausspruch, der sagt, das Schwierigste im Leben ist, du selbst zu sein.
And an old Sufi once said, the most difficult thing in life is to be truly yourself.
Ja.
Thank you so much, Rafia and Munir, for those jewels of the dances. How's my volume now? Is it better? Okay. Sorry about that. So Munir, will you offer a practice now? And we'll all get off the screen.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. Well, here's a practice that has got two parts, and it could be done very quickly, say even when you're holding hands in the circle before you begin to your dance evening or whatever it might be. Murshid Wali Allah used to say, let your focus be one-pointed. What does that mean? Well, it means that we can be, think we're here, but we're scattered. We've got different things going on. So the first part of this addresses that, and then we bring in the heart. So let's just do this. First of all, focus on a point across the room and be very present behind your eyes. Feel how that feels. Now just breathe, your eyes closed, but remain focused as before. So be present behind your eyes. You can even look behind your eyelids. Now just notice your energy right now in this moment. Is it scattered? Is it even? Is it coarse? And just call that energy back to you behind your eyes or even in the center of your head. Now, take 3 breaths, a short inhale and a long exhale, but exhale down into the heart, behind the sternum. And feel as if the contents of your brain is draining into your heart. 3 breaths at your own pace. And if you have time, you can add an elevating emotion like love, gratitude, or peace as you do this breath. So that's it. The second part, breathing into the heart, increases brain-heart coherence. If you are familiar with the Heart Math Institute, this is one of their practices. And so if we have more brain-heart coherence, we're going to be much more in rhythm with the dances and be able to call on our organ of wholeness, which is the heart. The heart is not only the source of love and even guidance, but it's the way we sense the whole of the dance circle, the whole of the sacred phrase. So one pointed attention, bring in the heart, can be done in a minute and really increase attunement for the dance. Amen.
Amin. Thank you so much. It's amazing how short the time was and how powerful.
Alhamdulillah.
Um, all right, so the next place I want to go is to ask you both, and maybe Rafia first. When training dance leaders, what are the fundamental or key elements you work with? What works, what doesn't work? The question is how to better nurture mentees.
Ja, was geht und was nicht geht, ist eine sehr, wie sagt man da, schwierige Frage.
Very difficult question when it comes to what works and what doesn't work.
Weil ich denke, dass habe die Erfahrung, dass das immer davon abhängt, welcher Mentee, welcher Tanzleiter das ist.
My experience is it's very much depending on who the dance leader is or the mentee that you're training.
Was auf jeden Fall ein ganz wichtiger Schritt ist für mich, ist immer das, was Munir gerade mit uns gemacht hat, die Menschen einzuladen, in ihr Herz zu gehen.
A very important step for me and first step is what Munir just did with us, to invite people to take that step into their heart.
Oft habe ich schon erlebt, dass wenn Menschen anfangen, Tänze zu leiten, dass sie sehr im Kopf sind.
I often experience people to be very much in their head when they start leading dances.
Und sie sind sehr beschäftigt mit vielen technischen Dingen.
And they're very busy with many technical things.
Und dann lade ich sie immer ein, in ihr Herz zu spüren.
And then I invite them to feel into their hearts,
Ins Herz zu spüren und sich Zeit zu lassen und nicht in eine Lehrerrolle zu gehen.
to feel into their hearts, to take their time and not step into the role of a teacher.
Also was zum Beispiel die ganzen Tanzanleitungen angeht, dass die technischen, ich nenne das jetzt technischen Dinge, die kann man immer noch gut lernen, aber das Wichtige ist, dass man es mit dem Herzen tut, mit dem Herzen weitergibt.
You can learn all the technical things that are put out in the write-ups and that are put out in manuals, but the most important thing is to start in the heart.
Du kannst zum Beispiel sagen, ja, wir gehen dann nach rechts und dann gehen wir zuerst mit dem rechten Fuß und dann machen wir 4 Schritte und diese 4 Schritte, die müssen in diesem und diesem Takt sein. Dann sind alle Menschen beschäftigt, im Kopf mitzukommen.
You can start by leading a dance with, we go to the right now, we take 4 steps, we start with the right foot and it needs to be in an ankle of, and everybody just drops into their heads or jumps into their heads.
Und das Gute ist einfach, ich habe eine Enkeltochter, die ist 2 Jahre und die macht alles nach, was sie sieht.
And the good thing is I do have like a granddaughter and she's 2 years old and she's just mimicking everything that she's seeing right now.
Und wenn ihr Cousin so dasteht,
And if her cousin makes this gesture,
sie macht auch so.
she does the same gesture.
Und ich finde, das müssen sich Tanzleiter immer auch klar machen. Die Menschen lernen als erstes durch Bewegung oder durch die Augen, durch Wahrnehmen der Bewegung.
And a dance leader has to be aware of the fact that human beings learn through mimicking movement.
Das ist mindestens genauso wichtig, wie dass ich erkläre, wie die Bewegungen gehen.
It's at least as important as explaining the movements.
Ja, und wir in Deutschland haben da ein ganz schönes, hartes Weiterzugeben gefunden.
And I think we in Germany found a very nice way to move on and to give, to teach.
Es gibt einige Mentoren und Mentorinnen, die Ausbildungsgruppen anbieten oder Weiterbildungsgruppen anbieten.
There are some mentors and senior mentors who offer training programs or deepening programs.
Und die gehen oft über 2 Jahre.
And many of them happen in the course of 2 years.
Und dort werden nicht nur Tänze gelehrt, es wird einfach auch Gänge gelehrt, es werden Stimmübungen gemacht, es werden Meditationen gemacht. Es gibt dann auch didaktische Hinweise. Es ist ein ganzes Paket, was die Menschen vermittelt bekommen.
And it's not only dances, it's also the walks, it's history of dances, it's meditation, it's the techniques, it's a whole packet of informations that people get for their path.
Und im Moment habe ich die Ehre, dass ich das mit meinem Kollegen Javier machen darf.
And at the moment, I'm honored to do that with my colleague Kabir.
Und macht natürlich auch viel Spaß.
And it's a great joy to work together and to be together.
Und es ist für die Menschen eine wunderbare Gelegenheit, weil in diesen Wochenenden gibt es dann auch die Möglichkeit der Supervision.
And it's a beautiful opportunity for people because during these weekends, there is the opportunity and option to do a supervision, to lead a dance.
Und da man einfach mit den gleichen Menschen immer zusammenkommt, ist es wie ein Schutzraum.
And it's happening in a safe space because the people you are with are always the same people that come together and they create this safe container where you can experience leading.
Und das bringt den Menschen oder den Tanzleitern oft eine wichtige Erfahrung und einen guten Schritt weiterzugehen.
And this leads to very good experiences for the individual and encourages the next steps on the path.
Mhm. Ja, und für mich ist es einfach das Wichtige, mich immer wieder als Batterie zur Verfügung zu stellen.
And the important thing for me is to be available as a battery.
Sam hat das ja gesagt, sei wie eine Batterie, wo die Menschen kommen, andocken, ihre Fragen haben und ihre Sorgen loswerden können auch.
And Sam said that be like a battery where people can come to and can connect to and maybe talk about their worries, but also like reload themselves.
Das ist wie einfach dann auch eine tiefe Weisheit anzapfen, weil meine Erfahrung ist, Fragen bringen auf jeden Fall eine Antwort in Bewegung.
It's like connecting to a source and being able to ask questions, and every question leads to an answer,
Ja.
whatever the answer is.
Und da kann man einfach auch auf die ganz speziellen Fragen der Einzelnen eingehen, weil jeder Mensch hat so seine eigene Vorgehensweise und seinen eigenen Weg mit den Tänzen.
And it's an opportunity to really connect with each individual and answer the questions of the individual, because each and every person has their own approach on this path and with this path.
Thank you so much. So starting with the heart. So Munir,
Yeah, shall I jump in there? So many beautiful things there, Rafia, and important things you've said. In training, what are key elements? People are in their heads. Why is that? It's because it feels safe to be in your head. You know, I know that this is how it is. I'm just a human being, you know. So to get up and lead a dance for the first time, all of my humanness is in the way, perhaps. We have to begin to realize that the human being is an assumed limit placed on the unlimited. That getting beyond my self worries is getting out of my comfort zone a little bit. And so how do we encourage people to do that? You know, to get into their hearts and to really open up and become the dance. What Rafia says is so important. It's not intellectually being able to tell people what to do and to do it. You have to become what it is that we aspire to in the dance. So how do we do that? First of all, I speak to the place in the student that's already awake. You know, the ego stuff is a phantom. It's not real. It's mixed up with their impressions from the past of who they are and so forth. But only their true self can really lead the dance well. So I avoid reinforcing the illusion that we're just people trying to be better. We are beings of infinite depth, and it's an adventure to uncover that depth and express it in this beautiful practice. So we have to see that our resistance and to some extent our seeking takes us out of present time and truly being awake, to just be. And then we can lead with all of ourselves, with heart, head, body, all of it. One of the first things my mentor said to me was, don't hold back. So I always say that, don't hold back. Give yourself to this completely, with your heart, with your body, with your breath. And don't worry about how it comes out in the beginning anyway. As I said earlier, our heart is the organ of wholeness. It's how we know the truth. And it's also a source of guidance. If we're paying attention, we know, as Rafia just said, what needs to happen next in the circle just emerges from the whole, from the heart of the dance leader, which is connected with everyone else's heart. So awakening the heart through various daily practice, taking time for your heart every day, I feel is an important part of Sufi practice, and should be right in there with the training of dance leaders. I should add that I feel that the leader guidelines are an outstanding text. It's all there, It really is an excellent document, but it has to be made alive. It can't be just a rule book. It needs to be the place we start from with our humanness. And as Rafia said, every single person has their own impressions, their own feelings that they're limited. They're not limited. They're really not. They just believe that they are. Whether it's, I can't sing, or whatever story they've got about themselves is just a story. So the mentor has to understand these stories and see the real person that's there, the real being that's there, and speak to that being with authority and with compassion, in a way that being needs to be seen by the mentor. And, oh, he sees me, she sees me, I can do this. So in a way, we're giving permission to people to be who they are. Isn't that interesting? That's all they need, is permission to be who they are. And then they can blossom and do all these things with the dances, and be a real force of blessing in the world. So it's a beautiful path, but we have to understand our role as mentors is about teaching I see it as an art, a craft, and a spiritual practice. The craft is about economy of teaching that Rafia referred to, and many other things that go into just doing the work. The art is that certain something of inspiration that is not, it's sacred art. It's like a stained glass window. There's no signature at the bottom of a stained glass window. It is a beautiful expression of the one, and that's the art of it. And then the spiritual practice of it has to do with that truth, and the sacred phrase is becoming the truth of the sacred phrase and letting that do its work on us. So I guess the last thing I would say is, be inspiring as mentors. We're not trying to fix the world. we're wanting to awaken the student, the dance leader's curiosity about themselves, their innate capacity, and their ability to really realize their depths in life and be able to bring that forward. So that's a beautiful, and it's a high bar for all of us. We're all raised up by a vision like that. I think that's what I wanted to say there.
Yeah, thank you so much. It is a high bar, and you make it sound so easy, both of you. So, Rafia, would you like to offer a chant practice? This would be a good time for that, and we'll all disappear.
Yes, I want to sing a song for you. Ja, jetzt fange ich Englisch an. Ich möchte ein Lied singen mit euch. Und das sind die Worte Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
I do want to sing a song with you. She said that. The words are Bismillah ar-Rahim.
Und Bismillah, wir verbinden uns mit der göttlichen Einheit.
We do connect with the divine unity.
Rahman, wir öffnen uns für die Liebe, die gegeben wird.
We open ourselves and for the love that is given to us.
Und Rahim, die Liebe, die einfach auch weitergeht, weiterfließt.
And the love that keeps on flowing.
Manchmal denke ich, es ist wie der Atem, der die Liebe in einen hineinfließen lässt und auch wieder herausfließen lässt, weiterfließen lässt.
Sometimes I think it's like the breath that lets the love flow into ourselves and then removes it also and keeps it, let it flow out again, lets it flow out again.
Und dann singen wir noch Hu Allah, wir verbinden uns mit dem großen Hu, mit dem kosmischen Klang.
And we do connect with the cosmic sound of Hu in singing Hu Allah.
Und mit der göttlichen Einheit Allah.
The divine unity, Allah.
Es gibt 2 Melodien.
2 melodies.
Und wenn du gerne mitsingen möchtest, kannst du entweder mit mir singen oder die andere Melodie singen. Sie passen zusammen.
Both melodies work together, so you can sing the one melody on top of the other melody if you want to.
Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim. Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Hu Allah. Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim. Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Hu Allah, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim. Huwallah, 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 huwallah. Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim, Bismillahirrahman, Bismillahirrahim. Huwallah, 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 Amen.
Thank you for that beautiful practice. Vakil, have you gotten any questions? This would be a good time for that.
Yes, we don't have questions yet. Only one from Amira on how can I find a dance for universal peace in my area? And since she's in North America, I paste a link for the North American Dance Network so she can find the dance there. But we don't have more questions yet.
Oh, okay. Start them coming. And Munir and Rafia, if you have anything to add that you think we missed or could add to this. Yes, Rafia.
Kabir, kannst du das bitte immer übersetzen, dass ich es ganz gut verstehe?
Okay. I'm translating for Rafia now. So, Nurana hat Vakil gerade gefragt, ob es schon Fragen im Chat gibt. Und bisher war das nur eine Frage von einer teilnehmenden Person, wo man Tänze finden könnte. Und Vakil hat diese Antwort gegeben und daher gibt es jetzt keine weiteren Fragen aus dem Chat. Und Nurana hat aber eben gefragt, ob es irgendetwas geben würde, was ihr noch ergänzen wollt, Munir oder du, zu dem, was ihr schon gesagt habt.
There have been so many important things touched on so far today. I just really have enjoyed hearing Rafia's perspectives. This higher level of energy she speaks about, that we drop into when the mind is in abeyance and we're very present and we're giving ourselves to this practice, is something really to pay attention to and to draw the students' attention to the preciousness of that and the guidance inherent in it. It's like we're attuning to ourselves as a being that transcends any separation. Earlier, I was referring to peace, as our being, and really, love is the dropping of separation. We have our ideas about love, but love just happens when the structures of the mind, the categories of the mind, and actually, Anayat Khan said, in tune in rhythm with daily life and in tune with the infinite. The infinite is devoid of finite qualities. So in the dance circle, we sink into being where the finite qualities that the mind brings are in abeyance. And so in that, we return to what we are, which is being, which has its own wisdom and its own ways. It has its ways with us. Okay? We're no longer the doer. We are the servant of wholeness, of Allah, or of Krishna, or whatever it might be. So this is the beauty of this practice and the opportunity as teachers, as mentors, to go to the higher octave of what this is all about. We're not, the human being is an assumed limit or just one more category of life. And these categories are not helpful to us. They're convenient in some ways to, find your way home or make a sandwich, but they're not what we are. So the dances, as a practice of learning to lead them, we really do come up against our limits of what we believe ourselves to be, and the mentor needs to constantly be encouraging the students to go beyond those limits and to really embrace the truth of the sacred phrase as what we are. It's what we are. We have our being in that truth and in that sacred phrase. I saw one question.
Yeah, I did see one question.
Go by there.
And Vakil, if you want to ask it, but I can certainly ask it.
Oh, yes, we have two questions. There is a very long one. Do you want me to read that to you?
Sure.
Okay, sorry for my English.
And if you could read like in parts and let Kabir translate.
Okay. I am mentoring a dance leader who likes to talk a lot before beginning to lead a dance.
Jetzt geht es um eine Frage, die im Chat steht, Rafia. Und Stückchen für Stückchen. Die Frage ist, ich bin der Mentor von einem tanzleitenden Menschen, der sehr viel redet, wenn er einen Tanz einführt. Oder
I have urged him to keep it short and from his heart, but I'm open to suggestions as he hasn't shown much improvement.
Ich habe ihn gebeten, immer wieder, dass er das doch bitte sehr kurz hält und von seinem Herzen spricht. Und jetzt bin ich offen für Vorschläge von euch, da er wohl noch nicht so viele Fortschritte gemacht hat.
He's also a guitarist. I have urged him to lead without accompanying himself, but his comfort zone is playing rather than leading.
Er ist auch ein Gitarrist und ich habe ihn gebeten, doch ohne Gitarre anzuleiten, ohne sich selbst zu begleiten mit der Gitarre. Aber seine Komfortzone ist eher das Spielen als das Leiten.
He says he really just wants to be a musician, but when it's time to plan for the next dance, he offers to lead the dance. All comments are welcome.
Er sagt, er wäre eigentlich lieber ein Musiker, aber wenn es dann Zeit ist, einen nächsten Tanzkreis vorzubereiten, will er immer auch einen Tanz anleiten. Was wären denn Vorschläge?
Soll ich? Shall I? Vorhin habe ich schon gedacht, was noch ganz wichtig ist zu sagen, manchmal braucht es viel Geduld.
Some time ago, I thought there is one important thing that I forgot to mention, and that is that sometimes it needs very much patience.
Ich habe einen Menti, der ist in seiner Anleitung permanent gesprungen.
I do have a mentee who in his leading was jumping around all the time.
Er war schon fast fertig und dann hat er wieder vorne angefangen.
He nearly was through introducing the dance and then he started again from the beginning.
Und ich habe ihm gesagt, mach dir einen Plan und so weiter, habe ihm viele Tipps gegeben.
And I told him, make yourself a plan. I gave him really many tips to work with.
Aber ich habe gemerkt, er ist einfach ein sehr oranischer Mensch.
But I realized that he's a very a being who's very much connected to Uranus.
Und ich habe losgelassen.
And so I just let go.
Und jetzt habe ich ihn vor kurzem wieder erlebt, hat er wieder Supervision gemacht.
And it's not long ago, I experienced him again leading a dance.
Und ich war so überrascht. Es war so getragen, er war so verbunden. Der Segen ist geflossen. Ich habe mich unglaublich gefreut.
And I was very surprised because the blessing was flowing through him. He was so connected to the dance and I was very, very excited for him.
Er tanzt sehr viel, er tanzt fast wöchentlich, macht er eine kleine Gruppe, aber er macht es permanent.
He dances a lot. He nearly dances weekly, offers a little group. So he's an ongoing dancing.
Und durch die Erfahrung, durch das immer tun und das sich erleben, hat sich alles umgewandelt.
And through this experience, in experiencing himself again and again and again in leading, everything changed.
Und ich denke auch immer, man muss bedenken, dass manche Menschen einfach sich gerne ganz, ganz lange ausdrücken oder einfach viel Ausdruckspotenzial haben.
And sometimes I think that you have to have in mind that there are some people who really, how should I put this? Maybe their gift and their talent is to express themselves in words. That there is a lot in them that they want to express.
Und in dieser Frage würde ich vorschlagen, einfach mal diesem Menti einen einfachen Tanz zu geben mit einem klaren, starken Mantra.
And my suggestion for this mentee would be to to give this mentee a very simple dance with a very strong mantra connected to it.
Das bringt manchmal diesen Wunsch, viel zu erklären, einfach, es gibt nicht so viel zu erklären.
Sometimes it just eliminates that wish of explaining a lot, because there is not a lot to explain.
Und oft ist es für die Menschen dann eine ganz schöne Erfahrung, die sie machen, weil diese Tänze dann oft einfach viel Tiefe mitbringen.
And this very often leads to a very deep experience for the mentee, because these so-called simple dances really bring a deep attunement and a deep experience for the mentee and the circle.
Rafia, I wonder if your letting go was also instrumental.
Ich frage mich, ob dein Loslassen auch hilfreich war.
Ja.
Yes.
Well, it's like Carl Jung said, unless there's a change in the physician, there's no change in the patient. And that applies for sure here. I think that's a great idea Rafia has. Here's another thought. If someone is continually going down the same pathway that is not really serving them in the dance, okay, what is that? You know, what holds that in place? In this case, it may be a bit of fear. You know, this person feels at some level and they're just compensating for that. So as the mentor, you've got to have a good relationship, obviously, to talk about this kind of thing. But you could suggest the mentee inquire, who has a problem? Who has the problem of talking too much or avoiding something? Who has that problem? And encourage them to spend some time with that question, because the one who's looking at the problem within them has no problem. It's some other factor in them that has that problem. It's some other factor within in our awareness that tries to control our experience. And it's a phantom. It's not real. But the gaze of the one that's real breaks that down. So this is the transmutation into gold. You know, this is the alchemy of dance leading, is that the unreal in us breaks down from the gaze of the real. And that can include the gaze of the senior teacher or whatever. I saw the question from Ka there about of Baraka and the sharing of the holy glance. In a way, these places within us that seem deficient need the glance of the king or the queen.
Munir, you just hit your mute. So the
I
last thing we heard was king or queen.
Yeah, they need the glance of the king or queen riding by on their horse as the subject. Oh my gosh, they see me, to wake up, you know, and be themselves. So we have that role of seeing them, really seeing who's really there, not the imagined place that has a problem. Seeing past that to who they really are. So anyway, inquiry, what I just described as who's got the problem, is an extremely powerful practice. And it goes along with the baraka of the dances. Actually, Murshid Sam said, Sufism is 2 parts bhakti, 1 part jnana. And jnana is the knowledge of being, really. It's the end. Vedanta means the end of knowledge, of conventional knowledge. It's entering into being, in which there is no knowledge. There's just the inherent wisdom of oneness. So a really good question, and it gets into baraka and the sharing of holy glance. When I first met Wali Ali, I, after a while, requested an interview with him, and we were just sitting together having a conversation, and he looked at me, and I immediately broke into tears. I just burst into tears. He saw right to the depth of who I was, and in that moment, everything was revealed that I still needed to work on, and everything that would be coming. So the glance is very powerful, and we need to be in the real self ourselves, which means facing any sense of limitation, and being one-pointed awareness, including the heart, all those things ourselves. And then we can be of service in this way.
So Rafia, Munir went into what was the next question, and I wondered if you had anything to say about baraka and the sharing of holy glance.
Ja, ich versuche immer den Mentees, den Tanzschülerinnen und Schülern, dieses Gefühl von Baraka zu vermitteln.
One of my goals is to transmit or to explain to the mentees, the dance students, this feeling of baraka.
Und Baraka stellt sich für mich in dem Moment ein, wo ich mein falsches Selbst zur Seite stellen kann und zur Seite stelle.
And baraka for me starts at that moment when I'm able to put my false self to the side.
Wenn ich mich ganz öffne für das Mantra und mich ganz intensiv mit allem, was ich habe, zur Verfügung stelle, dem Mantra.
When I open myself and offer myself completely to the mantra. Wenn
ich sie fühle, wenn ich sie spreche, wenn ich sie denke, wenn sie wirklich wenn ich sie singe, dass sie mich wirklich, mein ganzes Körper, mein ganzes Sein durchdringen.
When they penetrate my whole being, my singing, my breathing, my thinking.
Und ich weiß genau, was ich unbedingt ausschalten muss, und das versuche ich immer den Mentees zu sagen, ist einfach diesen inneren Richter.
And I know exactly, and this is what I try to tell my mentees, is to switch off, turn off that inner judge.
Der einfach sagt, machst du jetzt das richtig? Gucken dir alle zu? Bist du zu? Also einfach permanent mich zu kontrollieren, das loszulassen.
The inner judge who is permanently going like, are you doing the right thing? Is everybody watching? Who is watching? What are they thinking? That permanent thought of inner judge and being controlled, to let that go.
Und dann stellt sich Baraka ein. Dann habe ich das Gefühl, der Segen kommt durch und schwappt durch den ganzen Kreis.
And this is when Baraka starts. This is the moment when I have the feeling that the transmission and the blessing just like washes through me like a wave.
Und geht über in den ganzen Kreis. Also das ist das Wichtige.
And washes through me and through me into the circle. Washes into the circle.
Und das zu lernen ist einfach immer wieder die Erfahrung so wichtig.
And to be able to connect with that and to learn that, the experience is so important, like doing it again and again and again.
Und dazu gehören auch manchmal, oder wenn das Menschen das spüren oder einen Hauch von spüren, ist einfach, dass man Übungen auch mal anbietet, dass jemand in die Mitte geht und vielleicht einen Ton singt und alle singen den nach und man macht Bewegungen und alle machen sie nach, und diese Erfahrung zu machen, was passiert, wenn ich mich auf den Segenstrom einlasse.
And sometimes what leads to that is offer to people to step into the middle of a circle, into the center of a circle, and maybe just intone one sound. And the whole group joins in making that sound. And that person just starts with a movement, and the group starts with a movement. Not leading a dance, but just making the experience to be there in the middle and have that stream of blessing washing through you.
Das kann sich immer wieder bei den Tänzen einstellen, und ich erlebe es, dass das auch nicht abhängig ist, ob Mentees schon länger den Tanzweg gehen oder erst kürzer. Manchmal gibt es Menschen, die frisch bei den Tänzen sind und wo so verbunden sind, dass dieser Segensstrom ganz schnell sich einstellt.
And it's not depending on how long a person is on the path. I made the experience that that there are people who step into the circle, who are leading a dance, and immediately that stream of blessing is there and comes through them.
Aber es ist immer davon abhängig, wie sehr sich die Menschen, die einzelnen Personen hingeben.
And it's always depending on how that person is able to surrender.
Ja.
Yeah. Quite so. Very, very well said. And what she touched on there sort of gets into Rabia Pam's question here about bringing, the circle into more of a heart space. Sometimes if there's jerky energy or, things just aren't working right, there are leaks in the dance or whatever, I'll say, let's just tone who. We have a note, we're all singing who. And that really does a lot. One time I led a zikr that was all who or who Allah, just to see what that would be like. It's very powerful. And so just something simple like that can, bring folks together. In the other direction, occasionally a dance will be so watery that people go, and at the end of the dance, they're kind of in a fog, some people could be. So then it's time to do a fire walk, in the 3/4 time, 1, 2, 1, 2, let's get back here together. So it's not just surrendering to the heart space, but it's that one pointed attention that goes with that we want to encourage as well. The dances aren't about spacing out to some other place. It's about being super present, but in a heartful way and without thought of self. So those are the ingredients we reach for.
Thank you for moving on to the next question, Rafia.
Oh, after answer, nachdem wir Fragen beantwortet haben, möchte ich gerne noch ein letztes Bild zeigen.
After having answered the questions, I would like to share one more picture. And die Frage, hast du die mitbekommen, Rafia? Was eine Gruppe noch in diesen Herzraum bringen kann. Wenn eine Gruppe, where is the question?
It's about bringing dancers, other ways of bringing dancers to a heart.
Andere Wege, Tänzer noch ins Herz zu bringen. Thank you.
Especially when the dancers are in rather chaotic and excited state.
Es gibt verschiedene Methoden, eine Gruppe wieder ins Herz zu bringen oder zu den Wegen zum Herzen zu bringen. Es ist davon abhängig, wie eingetanzt die Menschen sind, wie weit die Menschen sich schon auf die Tänze eingestimmt haben. Wenn man ich mag es immer, wenn eine gemischte Gruppe da ist, wenn alte Tänzer und Tänzerinnen da sind und auch ganz neue. Und das ist irgendwie eine ganz schöne, befruchtet sich gegenseitig. Oh, ich bin so schnell. Kabir?
It's very much depending on, in my experience also, which group you have, which group of dancers you have. Are the dancers like a circle that is attuned to the dances, that are experienced with the dances? Or do you have people who meet the dances for the first time? So Rafia very much appreciates like the mixed groups, because it's like very encouraging and empowering for the one group to be with the other group, nourishing.
Und ich beginne in der Regel mit einem ganz einfachen Tanz und bemühe mich auch, die Menschen in die Stimme zu bringen, in den Klang zu bringen.
I usually start with a very simple dance, and I put an effort in to bring people to their voices, to connect with their voices.
Und ich bringe sie auch immer in Kontakt mit der Erde, in Kontakt mit dem Himmel.
And I always try to bring them into the connection with earth and sky.
Und ich bemühe mich auch immer, Übersetzungen von Mantren anzubieten, die ins Herz gehen. Also die keine intellektuelle Übersetzung, sondern eine ganz einfache, herzvolle Übersetzung.
And I always try to find translations of the mantra that are not based on intellectual wisdom, but based on a heart connection.
Om Mani Padme Hum kann man ganz schön das Mitgefühl im Herzen wachrufen.
With Om Mani Padme Hum, for example, you can call upon the compassion in the heart.
Du kannst sagen, dass you will im Herzen, dann bist du im Kopf, oder du kannst sagen, atme in dein Herz, fühl, wie dein Herz sich weit wird, wie es mitfühlt.
You can start by saying, this is the jewel in the lotus, which brings people into the head. Or you can start by saying, breathe into your heart, feel how your heart expands, feel how there is compassion in your heart.
Und da war eine Frage, glaube ich, noch von Erde und Himmel. Das mache ich mache viel mit dem Atem.
And Rafia says there was a question about heaven and earth somewhere.
Bringing die Menschen zum Spüren der Erde und zum Spüren des Himmels bringen. Das ist immer, dass ich die Menschen einlade, durch ihre Füße in die Erde zu spüren und sich von ihrem Scheitel zum Himmel zu verbinden mit dem Atem.
How do you connect to earth and sky? I always try to lead people into their feet to feel the earth with the feet and breathe through their feet, and also with their tip of their head to connect with the sky and breathe with the sky. So it's always breath related, the connection to earth and sky.
Beautiful, thank you. And we are out of time. So Rafia, if you'd like to show the picture,
Ja.
then I'll invite people to go into the gallery mode.
But please the last picture. Das ist ein Bild von unserem Tanzraum.
This is a picture of our dance hall, of our dance room in the seminar center.
Und jeden Winter über 20 Jahre, jetzt glaube auch schon, kommen junge Menschen zusammen, um hier zu tanzen.
And each winter after New Year's Eve, young people come together for nearly 20 years. I think it's 15 or 16 years now. They come together to dance.
Und sie werden begleitet von Tanzleitern, aber sie leiten auch immer mehr selber Tänze an.
There is a group of dance leaders who are holding the space, and these young people start more and more leading for themselves.
Dieses Bild soll die Hoffnung ausdrücken, dass der Nachwuchs die Arbeit wunderbar weiterführt.
And this picture is meant to express the hope that there is a next generation who will keep on leading dances and who will carry on the message and the transmission.
Thank you, and Shalom.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So I invite people to go into gallery mode and maybe unmute just to say goodbye and thank you, but wait for a second because I want to thank Rafia, Munir. Thank you for your wisdom, for your sharing. This has been such a full and rich experience, and I appreciate that. And Kabir, for you translating when you're not feeling well. I mean, it's a big deal when you're feeling well. So thank you. Wonderful.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be with you all.